Hello, Honors Anatomy. This is Mrs. Jennings, and this is your first screencast on the muscular system to cover functions. Now, before I get started, I'd like to give a shout out to Abby for doing such a great job with her homework and her grades. Keep up the good work, Abby. The muscular system. We have greater than 600 muscles in the muscular system, as well as 50% of our weight is comprised of muscles. The muscular system also contains 3 types of tissue: skeletal, cardiac, and smooth. Now, smooth muscle is found lining the walls of our organs and looks like this, as you remember from our tissues. No striations are found. Spindle-shaped cells are noted also on the stains of smooth muscle. The second one is cardiac, and cardiac looks like this under the microscope. You'll notice it has striations, and then it has these really thick lines where you have fibers connecting, and those are called intercalated discs, and that's one of the key features that you will find in cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscle, the last one, is found attached to bones, and it also has striations, but as cardiac muscle from the heart had the intercalated disc, skeletal muscle does not. Skeletal muscle is multinucleated and is the only muscle of the 3 that is voluntary, so you can actually consciously control contraction of that muscle, where you cannot the others. The 3 functions listed here are the functions of the muscular system. As you can see, we have movement, and that would be movement of the bones, or it would be movement of an organ as it is digesting food, or movement of your heart as it is pumping blood. We also have posture, so that we can hold our body upright, and then heat production in order to maintain the homeostasis in our body. All of these functions occur and are a result of the use of energy in the form of ATP. Now, that energy is in the form of ATP, is produced inside our cells in the mitochondria through a process called cellular respiration. And if you'll remember, cellular respiration uses oxygen and glucose, and the process actually occurs in the mitochondria, and the waste product is water and carbon dioxide. Okay, moving on to muscle characteristics, which are the characteristics that the muscles have to have in order to complete the functions of movement, posture, and heat production. And those are, as you can see here, the first one being excitability. And excitability is the ability to respond to a stimulus. And over in this diagram, you see muscle fibers, which are the same thing as a muscle cell, that are actually receiving a stimulus from this neuron, and that stimulus is electrical, and it can cause the muscle to actually contract. That's called a neuromuscular junction, where these two come together, neuromuscular junction. Second characteristic of muscles that allow the muscles to achieve the 3 functions mentioned in the slide previous to this one is contractility. And as you can see here, contractility has to do with the muscle being able to have tension and shorten, and that occurs, as you see in this diagram, as this student is lifting weights. Extensibility is the ability to stretch, as you see this person doing in this diagram. So the muscles have the ability to stretch, and then after they stretch, they have the ability to recoil, which is what elasticity is. And it would be like stretching out the rubber band and then letting it go, and it's going to go back to its original position. So excitability, contractility, extensibility, and elasticity are the muscle characteristics that allow our muscles to function with movement, posture, and heat. So what should you know now about the muscular system? Well, the first thing you should know about the muscular system is the three types of tissue that it is composed of: cardiac, skeletal, and smooth. You should also know the functions, the three functions mentioned of the muscular system being movement, posture, and heat production. And then you should also know the four characteristics that muscles have in order to complete those functions. All right, that concludes your screencast. Very first one of the muscular system. Great job.